remove the wheel, use a 17mm socket, take the lug nuts off. When you go to take the last one, just support the wheel so it doesn't fall. And grab the wheel, slide it off. We're going to take the inner fender well out, use a T30 socket, take this bolt out right here. And there's another one over here. Take those out. Now we're going to take the push pins out. There's push pins all over the place in here. Some of these you can use a Phillips head screwdriver and just gently loosen up the centerpiece. And then slide it out the rest of the way. So you want to get all of those out. Some right here. Those out. There should be a couple right here and here, behind here, and then on the other side. Underneath, there's a plastic nut right here. Just use a 10mm socket. Take that off, slide that out of the way. And there's another push pin right here, and spin that center piece out. And pry it down. There's a couple fasteners under here. This happens to be a Phillips head, so use a Phillips head screwdriver. And same with over here. Just take this panel off, slide that out of the way. If there's any other push pins holding this in, you want to take those out. Now just slide the inner fender well out. Slide it out of your way. On this friction tensioner right here, there's a little rip cord. If you just grab this little tab, slide it out, and then you're going to pull, and you're going to see that the tension gets loosened right there. And then there's a little slot right there, and there's a tab. Just slide that over that tab. That keeps the tension off this. So it's loose. Now there's 3 bolts holding this tensioner on. You want to use a 10mm wrench. You can at least get the lower one. Loosen that up. You can use a ratchet wrench if you can fit in there. And pull that bolt out. There's 2 others on top. You want to try to get in there with the wrench. If you have a 10mm socket that is very short, even shorter than this, you might be able to get up in there underneath there. There is a special tool that you can use, but if you just have basic tools that are a little bit shorter, you'll be able to get those upper 2 bolts out. So you want to take those out as well. All right, that bolt's loose. Pull that one out. Then you want to get the last one out. It's on the back side of here. This is where a short socket would be ideal. Otherwise, just use a wrench and do the best you can. Because we're just using a wrench, if we had the special tool, we'd be able to get right on there. We're going to pull this water pump pulley off. You wouldn't normally need to take the pulley off just to do this tensioner, but it's going to make it a little easier. So use the same 10mm wrench, loosen up the bolts on this pulley. You might have to hold the pulley from spinning. You can use a belt tool to go around the pulley to prevent it from spinning, or just use a screwdriver or a pry bar. Just get in between where the bolts are. You can loosen up the bolts. Once they're all loose, you can take them out by hand. Take all those out. I'll grab the pulley. Just slide it off. Just slide it towards the back of the vehicle. And slide it down. It comes right out. Now we can access this bolt a little easier with a wrench. Oh, that bolt's out. And grab the tensioner. And just slide it down and slide it out. Before we put this in, we want to pull on this ripcord right here. It's going to loosen up the tension. And just slide that in place. Just like that. Slide the tensioner in position. Looks good. Get the bolts started. Just going to use a magnet just to get one of the bolts in, make it a little easier. I'll do the same for this other one. And use your ratchet wrench if you can, and tighten those bolts down. So make sure those are all tight. All three of those bolts. And that's good. Take the pulley, goes over the water pump. I'm going to slide that in position. It slides right over there. Get the holes lined up. Oh, I'm gonna have to put my hand in there. And get the bolts started. Now I'm going to use the pry bar to keep it from spinning and just tighten those bolts down. right. Now it's very important to loosen up this ripcord. You want to grab that, pull that out, and then push it in. And it makes contact with this friction wheel against the water pump pulley. Otherwise, your water pump pulley isn't going to spin, so make sure you do that. Now put that inner fender well in. Just line it up in position. And start putting all the push pins back in. And the screws, get those started right there and over here. Tighten those down. And underneath, put those push pins in. And this plastic nut, snug that down, and put this panel back. Screw that in place. That's good. Now reinstall the wheel. Put the lug bolts in. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 110 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Just go around again, double check.